Hello, and welcome back to Basement Movie Room. We're back with another review. This one for a new movie, Black Widow. We saw it, it's July 10th, so we saw it the day after it released. We went to the theater, saw this movie, and overall, it's very okay. I would say it's very okay.
I do have to preface with, we saw the trailer for this movie tonight as well.
Yeah.
For the movie.
Yeah, it was
we were
weird.
Watching. It was a little weird.
Yeah, a silence your cell phones type trailer.
Yeah.
Before watching this movie.
Very interesting.
Of this movie. Made no sense.
Yeah.
So Black Widow obviously follows the story of Scarlett Johansson's character Black Widow, directed by Kate Shortland, who's an Australian director. Never really seen anything she'd done before, which is kind of par for the course of Marvel. They like to grab young, in this case not young, but like new upcoming directors, and even in this case I don't think she's an upcoming director. I think she's just got talent. She's a talented director from what I could see. So they got her to direct it, starring Scarlett Johansson, of course, Florence Pugh, who's fantastic in everything she's done in my opinion, David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, and Ray Winstone, and Olga Kurylenko, who you'll see in the opening credits and you won't see much of otherwise. That's not really a spoiler.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we open the movie. Well, where do we open the movie? I don't even remember. It's that not
it was
memorable.
Them as kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
We go through and we see David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, and two children who are basically the stand-ins as young Scarlett Johansson and young Florence Pugh in Ohio. And we get into their home, and basically you figure out pretty quickly they're Russian sleeper agents in the United States, stealing something specific on a 3.5 floppy disk, which if you don't know what that is, I wouldn't be surprised. It's the save thing when you save things on computers and video games occasionally.
Back in the day. Yep.
So yeah, it's 3.5 floppy disks. They're stealing something, and they basically are done in the United States. The kids are not real fond of
kind of an Americans vibe.
Yeah, Americans for sure.
The whole
yeah,
TV
Americans,
show.
great show.
Very
But,
similar to that in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So basically, David Harbour comes home, says he's done it. They got 1 hour. They go out of there in a nice action-packed sequence. Honestly, the opening of the movie was very interesting. I could have gone for more of that, to be honest.
Yeah, it was decent.
The opening was great. Young David Harbour, young Rachel Weisz, who just looks young all the time, to be honest.
She hasn't changed.
She looks great all the time. Running away, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s coming in after them, which we know that's Hydra probably anyway. So S.H.I.E.L.D.'s coming after him. They're flying away in a small plane. David Harbour's got a hunting rifle, firing guns off and showing off his super soldier prowess. You find out you're introduced that he's a super soldier. They're stomping upstairs. Super soldier, that he's the Russian super soldier, and later you're told that he's the only Russian super soldier that was ever created. I guess they didn't do very well in their research on that. So you have that sequence, which is great. I kind of wish it would have just carried on from there and things like that. But after that, you kind of flash forward to Black Widow after Civil War, where she's a criminal, and Thunderbolt Ross, William Hurt's character, is coming after her. He thinks he's got her cornered, but it's all a fake out. She's on a ferry, which you were like, that looks like New Zealand. Then we see that they filmed something in New Zealand after the movie, so it probably was New Zealand. So, which the director is Australian, so there's some stuff in Australia too. So you get there, and she goes off and meets with this guy who is apparently a fixer of some kind. He gets things for her. He was great in the movie. I can't pronounce his name, but he's terrific. You can look him up. I don't know if we ever get his actual name in the movie, to be honest. He's just like the guy who gets them things.
Yeah, he's working in the shadows.
And he brings her some mail, and the mail ends up having something in it from her sister, which you see a whole sequence with her sister like trying to kill somebody and then getting sprayed with this red liquid that wakes her up, basically. Makes her realize that what she's doing is wrong. I guess, her Russian programming is erased by this red vapor that gets sprayed on her by this other agent. So you end up with Taskmaster showing up with no introduction whatsoever. There's no indication of who this character is. I guess there's minor indication. They say this is a job for Taskmaster or something.
Yeah.
You're not told anything about Taskmaster because
At first I thought I was giving you theories.
Yeah,
I was like,
you were
I think
like,
it's the mom.
it could be the
Then I was
mom.
like, oh
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Could they bring back Crossbones?
Crossbones.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
because he had the mask and everything.
yeah, he looks
Kinda
like
looked
Crossbones. Yeah, he looks like
I was like,
Crossbones.
oh, they might
His
have brought him
outfit
back.
is basically Crossbones cleaned up.
Might have brought him back from Winter Soldier, which
Yeah.
I'll get into that
yeah.
after
yeah.
you.
So you get that, and Taskmaster comes after Scarlett Johansson. At least she thinks, but he's actually after the package that Yelena, yeah,
Something.
Florence Pugh's character sent to her just to get it gone, basically. So she figures out that Taskmaster's not actually after her. He's after this package, and she looks in the package and finds a picture of her and Yelena as kids, and realizes she needs to go back to Budapest. Let's get the pronunciation right. That's the thing in the movie. The pronunciation of Budapest, not Budapest, which is honestly a waste of time in the movie. There's a lot of sequences that are a waste of time in the movie, to be honest. Nonetheless, she goes to Budapest, ends up in a fight with Yelena, and we get the typical Marvel fighting. We were both like, it's hard to follow.
Headache.
It's too close.
Yeah.
All the fighting is too close in. There's a couple shots that are okay, where they're above them and you can see what's going on, but all the shots are too close. The screen's too big to follow all the action going across there in the theater. It's probably even too big in your house. It's too fast, too close. Marvel needs to back their fighting stuff off.
Yeah, by the end of this movie, I had a headache.
Yeah, it can give you a headache. There's a lot of action and stuff that's just too close.
Yeah.
So Yelena says that this serum is to stop this chemical programming, and that they need to find the Red Room because this person, played by Yurkov or something like that, played by Ray Winstone, is still alive. This is who Natasha Romanoff thought she killed to get into good favor with the Americans to defect to the United States service with Clint Barton. So you get, minor flashes of, her past and what she did. And it ends up she killed Yurov's daughter in the bombing that was supposed to kill him because she was just collateral damage. Natasha doesn't seem all that concerned about it when they talk about it, but you can kind of tell she is.
Yeah.
She didn't like doing it. So that kind of sets off the movie from there. They have to find their former fake parents in David Harbour, who's just fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
Best part of the movie. Yeah. Hilarious. He's the comic relief, but it's natural.
Yeah.
That he's the comic relief. It doesn't feel forced in my opinion. It definitely feels natural. His comic relief part, it just flows with the movie because he's kind of like, he's the Red Guardian. He's Russia's answer to Captain America, basically.
Or what's the other one?
The Crimson Dynamo. That gets called that at one point by Yelena, and it was hilarious because she clearly does it because she knows he'll take offense to it. He's like, but I'm the Red Guardian, But yeah, he's terrific in it. Absolutely terrific. Rachel Weisz is very good. She doesn't have a lot to do, to be honest. She's kind of just there as the science person in the group.
Yeah.
So, that kind of all sets off the movie. They have to find David Harbour. They have to break him out of prison. They have to go find Rachel Weisz to find the Red Room, which is this room where Ray Winstone's character and the Black Widow program is out of, which is a chemical, program at this point. Chemical induced.
Pretty much.
Yeah, these people can't control themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of all plays from there, and you get more info on Taskmaster, and you get more info on what's going on with the Black Widow program. Mm-hmm. But I think you said it, it's not the story you really wanted to see.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted to see what?
I wanted Black Widow before she met up with the Avengers, before she met Tony Stark. I wanted to see how she became Black Widow that we know.
No.
And it's just, it was a bad time frame that they went with the story.
Yeah.
It was kind of pointless to.
There's no stakes.
For me.
There's no stakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, she's going to make it through this, but.
But spoiler.
We know where this ends.
Yeah, we know where she goes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's no stakes in the movie. That's one of the bad things. I mean, there's all these parts where Natasha's in mortal peril, but you're like, plot armor, we're good, we don't care. Nothing's going to happen to her. She's going to be fine.
The movie should have came out 7 years ago.
7 years ago, probably.
Timing's terrible.
It should have came out after like Iron Man 2 in that area. Really, she should have gotten the movie earlier. I think it would have been better for it. Even with this plot, it would have been better if it had come out then. So
all I could think about too, on another note, the whole time I was watching this movie, I thought I was watching Winter Soldier. Black Widow is in Winter Soldier.
yeah,
There's so many similarities between those two movies. It's like they just kind of took Winter Soldier and put it into this movie.
yeah, absolutely.
The whole story was pretty much the same, but done poorly.
Yeah. Now, I will say, even though the plot is rather boring at times, it's fun enough at times, especially when David Harbour's on screen. That's always very fun. So, is it worth seeing? Yes, it's worth seeing. The score is a typical Marvel score.
Yeah,
There's nothing to it.
Nothing stood
I mean, it's basically living off Hans Zimmer's Avengers score still at this point. So, it's a typical score for Marvel. The acting is great. I think all the acting is great. I mean, Florence Pugh's fantastic. Rachel Weisz didn't have much to do, like I said, but she's good in it. David Harbour's fantastic.
Harbour, give me more Harbour and
Yelena.
Yeah. I mean, give me I like those characters.
Yeah,
they really
they're
built
great.
those characters up pretty well.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
And I think we're definitely going to see more Yolanda. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason we know that for sure. We're going to see more of that.
She's a good actress.
She's terrific. Yeah, Florence Pugh is absolutely terrific actress. So it's great to have her there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't have much else to say about it.
No, I mean, it was action sequences were a little too long.
Yeah.
Boring.
Okay.
Storyline was.
Yeah. Family stuff got a little boring at times.
Yeah, it could have been. We get it.
Could have been compacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just kind of. I didn't go into this movie expecting much, and I came out of it
about the same.
That's where I was. Maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
So I thought they were going to touch on some earlier parts of her life.
Barely any.
Yeah,
barely.
I was kind of disappointed with that because I think they could have really had a lot of good material they could have worked with.
Yeah, they definitely did
for a Black Widow, but they failed.
All right.
I think.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to rating. What do you got? What do you got?
Out of 5?
Yep.
I gotta give it a 2.
Oh, you're real low.
I'm that low on this movie.
Yeah, you're real low on it. I was debating between a 2.5 and a 3. I think it's middling, so I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing. It's better than at least Thor: The Dark World in the Marvel movie pantheon. It's better than Iron Man 2, because Iron Man 2 is pretty terrible in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of it. But most Marvel movies at least have enough for me to give them a 3.
Yeah.
So, 3.
I'm done running.